Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee, and today we'll be talking through my Game Week 5 team selection. So the international break is nearly over, and we can start thinking about transfers for Game Week 5. So stick around to see who I'm thinking about bringing in this week. If you are new and you enjoy FPL content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Just a little click down below. Please do it. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Get strong.
Right, mates, first up we've got the goalkeeper and the defence. As you can see, I've got Pickford on the bench, so I'm opting for Matt Turner. Forest at home to Burnley. It's not great for either goalkeeper, and I'm not convinced Turner is going to start that game, but I would rather have Turner than Pickford up against Arsenal. That's the reason why I've gone for Turner. I do have two free transfers. I am considering a goalkeeper transfer. I just don't really like making goalkeeper transfers, so it's probably not something I am really going to consider right now. If I was to going to bring someone in, it would be someone with some decent future, decent games as well. Somebody like a Nick Pope or somebody like a Flecken or somebody like that. So not just focusing on this week, like somebody who does have a couple good fixtures after this week as well. So my first defender is Saliba and is away to Everton. And one of the reasons why I've gone for Matt Turner is because obviously Arsenal play Everton, and I think Arsenal are going to be the ones who keep a clean sheet and score the goals. So I do think Saliba's going to have a good game here. I see a lot of people selling Arsenal assets. People might still have Gabriel as third sub. And if you have got someone like a Gabriel, I think this is a perfect game to bring him in and play him. And probably after this game is when I'd probably start thinking about selling my Arsenal assets, probably besides Saka. But probably after this Everton game, I might start thinking about selling Saliba for somebody like a Trippier or a Newcastle equivalent, like whether that's Botman, whether he's back in time from injury, or Fabian Schär or something like that. So they're the kind of players that I'm considering in goalkeeper and defence. My second defender is Ben Chilwell, away to Bournemouth. I think this is going to be a harder game than people realise. I think that Bournemouth will adopt a high press like they've done in every game so far. I think they'll be difficult to play against. And I don't think Chelsea are as good as people seem to make out. As you can see, I've got Colwill on the bench there, and whether he's first sub or second sub is irrelevant really. Like it's not really going to matter. So I just don't see Colwill as a real option when I've got the likes of Saliba, who I think has got a better clean sheet chance. And I've got two attacking fullbacks in Chilwell and Udogie, which brings me on to Udogie very nicely. At home to Sheffield United, really good fixture. I think they're going to camp them in. This is basically Ange Postecoglou managing Celtic up against anybody else in the league bar Rangers. Basically going to be 75% of the ball. They'll be absolutely dominant in the opposition half. There'll be a load of shots, there'll be a load of chances, and I'm hoping Udogie does get in those attacking thirds, whether that's on the overlap or the underlap. He seems to go more for the underlap and getting that kind of half space and like in the left forward position. And if he gets in and around there, I think he'll cause a lot of carnage and he'll cause a lot of damage to the team. And he might even walk away with an absolute haul with a clean sheet and attacking returns, and I could see him maybe getting 10, 12, 15 pointer. If he does, I'll be laughing all the way. Somebody like Udogie, if you don't have him now, I wouldn't recommend bringing him in, because they do have Arsenal and Liverpool after Sheffield United, but then they do go on a nice run from game week 8. So if you are somebody like me who was thinking around of a wild card between game week 8, 9 and 10, then I wouldn't recommend bringing in too many Spurs players at this point, and maybe try and focus on that game week 8 game and try and go into that game week with 2 free transfers, and what with the option of bringing in someone like Udogie and Maddison or Heung-min Son, and go for that Spurs triple up from that point on, because they do have a nice little run after that point. Onto the midfield, and first up we've got Marcus Rashford. I watched England last night. I thought Rashford played pretty well from the left. We've got Brighton at home. Now, although this is a tough game on paper, and it will be a difficult game, we all saw what Benrahma did to Brighton, exposing that and that left flank, that and the defensive right side, because of the way Brighton play. Like they push the fullbacks right up and way out opposition, and there's massive holes at the sides. And I basically just want Rashford just to don't do any tracking back, don't move back, just stay right up there and just put yourself in the in Brighton's right back slot and just stand there, and we just keep hoofing it over and over the top over and over again. And I think that's going to be one of the main game plans, to be honest with you. And I think Bruno's going to be so pivotal to that plan. And I think that's the reason why Rashford and Bruno are both going to have good games this week. I see a lot of people selling one or the other. Even after this game, like after United play Brighton, like we're going a really good run of about 5 or 6 games where we've got really nice fixtures. So if you are thinking of selling either of those, bear in mind we have got a good run after this. I wouldn't recommend selling either of them. If you really want to, I'd probably sell Bruno over Rashford, even though Rashford isn't on top form right now. I just think these fixtures are absolutely primed for Rashford just to explode and just go absolutely crazy on them. So is a definite keep for me. Like unless anything crops up in terms of injury news, I just don't see me selling like Rashford for anyone. Even someone like a Heung-min Son or Maddison, because those Spurs players have only got one good game this week, and then they've got Arsenal, Liverpool, the 2 games after this. Whereas like United have gotten, like I said, that they've got a nice run for 3 or 4 or 5 games now. If I was going to sell anyone from the midfield, I'm probably looking at like an Mbeumo or a Foden, but either of those are really, really hard sells. Somebody like Saka as well, he's just a really hard sell, and I just can't really bring myself to do it. And then we've got Bruno as well, like he's on penalties. I do think he'll cause Brighton some problems, and I just want him to play the quarterback role and just keep pinging it over and over the top for Rashford just to run onto and just cause absolute havoc for them. Brighton don't keep a lot of clean sheets. I do think we'll score in the game. I think we'll concede as well. So like if you have got like an Onana or any Man United defence, and maybe trying to think about like moving those on to somebody else, I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I'd be really shaky at the back. And that might change if we bring Amrabat into midfield. It might kind of keep us more solid like in that central park positions. But I think we'll concede, but I think we'll score. And I can see it maybe being something like 3-1 Man United. It's probably a bit optimistic, but I think we've got a good performance in us. And Mbeumo is away to Newcastle. Tough game, but the way Brentford play, like they rely on creating high XG chances. And if Mbeumo is going to be on the end of one of those high XG chances, I want him in my team. Do you know what I mean? Like and they're not someone like United or Arsenal where they just it's like it's all about shot volume and just try and get as many shots away as they can, and it's relatively low XG for the most part. Brentford are all about high XG and creating an easier goal scoring opportunity, as it were. And as long as Mbeumo's in and around that area, I think he'll be in and around the goals. And I just really hope he is. I think it's with someone like Mbeumo because he's so cheap. He becomes such a difficult sell. Because if I want to go up to someone like a Heung-min Son, I have to sell someone else to upgrade Mbeumo to Son, and then take like one of my forwards down to somebody else to try and facilitate that move. It's not really something I like. I do really like the midfield, but the midfield is the one area where I feel like I can exploit it in terms of maximising my points, and maybe just picking like a random midfielder every single week. Like as long as the rest of my team stays pretty solid, which I think I've got a solid team, I can take punts on plays here and there. And Mbeumo is one of those where I feel like I could take him out for a Heung-min Son, bring him in for this week, and then maybe even take some back out next week. It's just one of those where I feel like I can maybe take a bit of a chance. Going back to the England game from last night, and I thought Foden and particularly Bellingham were just unbelievable. Like Bellingham is ridiculously good, mate. He is everything I thought Pogba was going to be for Man United. I've watched him quite a few times, and I just thought it was unbelievable last night. Like Scotland couldn't get anywhere near him. Like he just glides, he does everything. His anticipation, his strength, his quality on the ball, passing, shooting. He's just going to be insane. Like I think he'll win a Ballon d'Or one day. I think he's that good. Foden, I think he'll play against West Ham. I can see him playing and doing pretty well. My only issue with Foden is I don't feel like he's getting close enough to the goal for this Man City team, particularly when Alvarez plays. Alvarez seems to be the one pushing towards the goal and getting the shots away, whereas Foden seems more of the creator. I don't mind that so much. Like if he's going to rack up 25, 30 assists in the season, like he's obviously not going to do that. And he will get the odd goal here and there, but I want him to be a little bit closer to Haaland. And it'd be interesting to see what happens with Alvarez. Like and what we all know the thing, like he's played in Bolivia, high altitude and all this, and like whether Foden's going to come in. It's all a bit of nonsense, really. Like I can see Alvarez coming in, no problem at all. Like these are professional footballers and they're insanely fit. But if we do get news that Alvarez is rested and Foden's going to be playing a bit further forward, all in on that, mate. And same with like the rest of midfield, like it becomes such a hard sell. Like if that's the case, but if any news does come out that Foden's rested or benched or ill or anything, then he's probably going to be the one that's going to make way for Son or Maddison. And if I only want to make one transfer, that's going to be Maddison. If I want to make two and take someone else down, I might even bring someone like Son in for that game. Saka away to Everton. I've not been too impressed with Arsenal as a whole. Even when we played them, I thought Arsenal was a bit flat. I wasn't impressed with them at all. I don't think they caused us too many problems. I thought we played pretty well. We had a lot of control over the game. Saka was pretty non-existent considering he was up against Dalot, who in my opinion doesn't defend that well. I thought Dalot was one of the best players on the pitch. I thought he just shut down Saka every single time Saka got the ball. And all the attacks and everything just seems to be going down the left-hand side through Martinelli. And Saka doesn't really seem to be getting involved as much as he used to, but he is maybe still on pens, and he's probably the easiest one to sell out of all these. And if I am maybe thinking of selling Arsenal assets after this Everton game anyway, I've got 1.3 in the bank. A Saka to Son move this week might be the play, you know, like it might be the play. I don't want to move on too many other midfielders, and Saka to Son just might be an easy way. Just take a punt on like a 1 week punt and go for some like a Heung-min Son instead of a Saka. But we all know the way Everton play, like they're wide open all the time, like they concede a lot of chances, but they do also rack up the odd amount of decent XG as well. So I think they might cause Arsenal some problems, and if Everton do score, then they'll camp in, defend it, and I think that's when it will get quite tough for Arsenal to break them down. But overall, pretty happy with my midfield, pretty happy with my defence. I think I've got a nice mix of teams, nice mix of kind of quality and different kind of options. I've got a few penalty takers in there as well, so I feel like I'm kind of covering all bases. And the difficult part is where do I want to make a transfer, because I've got two, don't want to burn one, really want to use one, and where do I go with it? Leave a comment down below and let me know what moves you're thinking about making this week. On to the forwards, and I've still got Nicholas Jackson away to Bournemouth. I think this is a decent game, and I see a lot of people selling him for all these different other kind of players, and I think the reason why they're selling him is to facilitate other moves, and that's one of the things I'm maybe thinking about. If I do want to go and boom or Foden to Heung-min Son, the only way I can do it is downgrading Jackson to someone like a Carlton Morris, which is my primary target. He was in one of my transfer watch list videos a couple of weeks ago. Good player, everything comes through him when he plays for Luton. On penalties, I think they'll do well in the next few games. And with that game week 7, double game week 7 coming out where they've got 2 good games, I think Morrison's going to be heavily kind of transferred in between now and then. And I think people are getting a bit worried in terms of price rises. If they don't bring him in now, his price is just going to continually rise up to game week 7. And I can see maybe being 5.7, 5.8 by that point. So do you get on it now? Do you get on it early? Get those price rises and get the money in the bank. The only thing with Nicholas Jackson is he does like a yellow card, and I think he's on 3 at the minute now. So if he gets booked against Bournemouth, I would maybe transfer him out anyway. So do I just make the move now? Go somewhere like Carlton Morris now. It's something I have considered, and it's something that I might even do. And my captain is obviously Haaland right now. If I did bring Son in, I'd probably lean more towards Son, particularly if I know Son's going to play number 9. I can see Son maybe scoring a hat-trick again, you know. If Son does play number 9. I've currently got my advice on Foden. That could easily be Rashford, Bruno. If I put the captaincy on Son, then the vice would be Haaland. There's a few different things I could do there. I am even tempted to take a -4 and bring in Trippier this week and just kind of get it over and done with. And that's where I'm taking out someone like an Mbumo. So I go Jackson down to Morrison. And Mbumo up to like a Heung-min Son or Maddison, and then one of my defenders up to Trippier. I have got a few things I can kind of play around with and kind of can and think about with my team, and I'm trying to be quite aggressive over the next few weeks because I know I want a wild card soon, because I can maybe thinking about wild card maybe 8, 9, 10. I'm going to try and leave it as late as I can, so I'm probably looking at more game week 10. But just take some risks, just have a bit of fun with it, and you just need to decide what team you want when you wild card. So how many risks you want to take between now and then, and that's where you kind of need to kind of wait up. Depending on what team you've got now and what team you want in the future. I want to take a few risks. I'm going to have a bit of fun with it, I think, and I might even make 3 transfers, take a -4, might take a -8, who knows? Because there's some massive hauls ready this season. I think we just need to take a chance and go for it. Right, mates, thanks for watching. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. New to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please like the video, leave a comment, all the usual jazz. Tell everybody, tell everyone to subscribe. Have a good day. Peace and love. In a bit.